Today we're looking at a pen from one of my favourite Australian pen makers. I've had this pen in my collection for a while and I showed it in a video last year, but today we're giving it a full review in its own right, and it is this pen. This is a beautiful pen from that pen bloke, Steve over there, an amazing pen maker, one of Australia's premier wood pen makers in my opinion. So this pen utilises Huon pine, which is one of my favourite timbers. I'm getting a little collection of Huon pine pens, so stay tuned for more of these. But yes, today we are looking at this beautiful one here. So please like and subscribe and hit the notifications button, and please consider becoming a member of this channel. For a small monthly fee, you will get early access to my videos, you'll get priority comments, and once the community's grown a little bit, we'll get some Q&As going. And every dollar that's put into this channel by you goes towards things like these pens that I get to review for you. It all is fed right back into the channel. So let's check this pen out right now. And here it is. This is the beautiful custom Huon pine fountain pen from that pen bloke. So this is Huon pine and blackwood and then acrylic on the pen as well. And it is absolutely beautiful. You can see it's got a high gloss sort of lacquer or polish on it. It's really, really lovely. So I'm going to talk about the parts and features of this pen. I've already featured this pen in a number of videos, so I'm not going to spend sort of too much time delving into things like the fact that it's a custom pen and that, you know, you can't get this pen off a shelf. This is something that was made for me. But I wanted to show this pen and review it because the quality of the workmanship is lovely. The pen writes beautifully. It's a really lovely wooden custom pen from an Australian maker. So let's talk about the pen. Top of the pen is the black acrylic, and then we get these alternating waves of Huon pine and blackwood in a cylindrical cap, and then down the side is this panel, this vertical or like lined panel of the timbers as well, which is really, really lovely. Then the end of the cap, we get another acrylic, more acrylic after the barrel, then that wave pattern again and an acrylic. And it is a twist cap and it comes off in one turn. And then you get a little step down onto some nice smooth threads. Nothing sharp about them at all. And then a long, slightly tapered section. Now, a lot of these styles of pen where the cap doesn't sit over the top of the barrel, you do get a bit more of a step down, and sometimes the sections can be a little narrow. This avoids that because the pen has enough girth as it is to allow for that. And then we get a number 6 Bloke steel nib, which is a fine in this instance. And it writes very fine, as in fine quality. And I enjoyed it a lot. I also got a double broad nib for this pen as well, or a separate nib unit, which is fantastic. And there's a standard sort of plastic feed. The section is the acrylic as well. I love acrylic sections on wooden pens simply because they stain less. There's less chance of that happening, and I appreciate that a lot. It's a detail I really enjoy. As much as I would love to continue seeing the Huon pine onto the section, it makes sense, and having this nice sort of accented details, which is always really, really lovely. This is a standard cartridge converter pen. I've got it there with a standard Schmidt converter. It's right, a little low on ink at the moment. It's been getting a lot of use. I really, really enjoy writing with this pen. It's a lovely desk pen, actually. I've had this sitting at my desk, actually on this brass pen stand, which is from Venustus. It's just been sitting on my desk. I've had it sitting in that quite a lot, and I just reach over and pick it up and write my notes. That single turn of the cap means that, you know, you're into writing pretty quickly, all that kind of thing. Given the style of pen that this is, it doesn't post, but it is absolutely big enough to not need to post. A lot of custom pen makers don't make pens that post. And I understand that because you don't want to damage materials and things like that. But also in terms of the design of this pen, having the sort of simple cylindrical straight barrel allows for sort of a really lovely design and shape. And it's not a problem for me. As I said, I use this a lot at my desk, and the cap sits very comfortably, you know, flat when I'm writing. It's really very good. I will also say that there is a liner on the cap and the body that gives it some stability, but also means that it's airtight and things like that. Very quick size comparison today. You see it is considerably longer there than the Lamy Safari when it's posted. Unposted, it's still longer, and of course with the number 6 size nib, it's a little bit more ergonomic on the page as well. However, the Lamy Safari does post, and once it's posted, it does become a longer pen. So as I said, you cannot post the this particular pen from that pen bloke. Okay, let's talk about some dimensions now. It's 150 millimeters when it's capped. It's 141 when it's uncapped. So it's as I said, it's a nice size in the hand. It doesn't post. It is 11.5 millimeters around the middle of the section. So very nice. And around the cap is about 16 millimeters. Now the pen weighs 25 grams in total, capped, but the writing weight is about 16 grams. So it's not super heavy. Very, very comfortable pen. You know, with simple like resins and woods, you're not going to get a super heavy pen, and it means that your writing weight doesn't give you fatigue or anything like that. So this is that pen bloke, Steve over there, who does wonderful, wonderful things. Check out, I'll put all the details in the video description so you can check out his work. I've just been calling this the custom Huon Pine pen. It has a number 6 steel Bloke nib. Now, when you buy a custom pen like this, there's lots that you can talk about. You know, you talk about the materials that are used. As I said to Steve, I really want Huon Pine included. I'm starting, I've decided my sub collection of custom pens is going to try and include as many Huon Pine pens as possible. But you can talk about materials. You can talk about the shape, the weight, the dimensions, those kinds of things. But also, you know, the nib. A lot of nib pen makers can accommodate, you know, Bock or Jowo or Schmidt, depending on what they're, you know, set up for. Some even have things like Cypress nibs, or have agreements with nib grinders to do custom grinds on them. It's really wonderful. You can really delve into the details of what you want, as well as some pen makers having stock designs or, you know, pens in stock that you can buy. I know that Just Turnings, another Australian pen maker, will often, you know, outlay a bunch of pens that he's just made, and you can just buy those as stock. But today we're talking about this one. As I said, the ink in this is Diamine Kensington Blue. This nib writes quite nicely. I'm not a huge fan of Bock in general, but this particular one is absolutely beautiful. I will say this pen is best when you write, and a lot of the Bock nibs I found in general, is best when you write in a more deliberate way. They're not designed for fast writing, or they don't seem to be able to keep up necessarily as well with fast writing, but they're relatively smooth, provide a nice uniform line. Not super wet, but, you know, definitely you can see good wetness. They're not soft, but you can, like, push a little bit of line variation out if you're careful, but you know, you're laying just a lot of ink down on the page. Reverse writing is not great. Like, if you needed to get a couple of words out, you can, but it's a little bit scratchy and it will tend to dry out. Fast writing, like, there's no issue whatsoever. It keeps up. It, you know, on the more aggressive attack starts and things, it's doing all the right things. Yeah, it does all the things it should do. It writes well, but in that you know, nice sort of deliberate everyday writing, and particularly with an ink like this, which is, I would say, medium flow, you get a nice writing experience. And when you're looking at a pen that looks as beautiful as this in your hand as well, you want to write with it. So I always find the business end of a custom pen review difficult, because you want to talk about the cost, and each pen is going to cost a different amount. Like the amount of work that went into this jumps it up into a much higher price point than a more simple turned pen. Like I know that that pen bloke runs everything from sort of more entry level pens from his lineup through to beautifully detailed custom work like this, and the price difference can be astronomical, really. Like you're jumping from a couple of $100s to several more $100s, but it'll come down to what you want. So always talk to the maker about the price, because you don't want a nasty surprise, but also this is an artist who's making this pen and their work is valuable, so expect a slightly higher price point. So let's talk pros and cons, which is also super difficult on a pen like this, because, firstly, in terms of con, I don't have a whole lot of cons. It's a natural material, so there are like unique quirkinesses within the material, like you see the wood grain, you see the different colorations, things like that. You're going to see that. It's a natural product. And that's totally fine. It's not inexpensive pen, but that's also because it's an artisan pen. You're paying for the work of an artist, and do that. And then there are a couple of things like the fact that, yes, it will take longer. You can't just go and buy this off the shelf. There will be time for conversation. There'll be waiting time, all that kind of thing. The pen has to be made. It has to be, varnished and dried. And then these pens do take more time than a standard off-the-shelf fountain pen. Please keep that in mind. Also, don't rush your maker. If your maker agrees to make you a pen, they will make it. The vast, vast majority of pen makers out there are good people. They will make your pen. Let them make your pen. But understand that there will be a wait time. So what are the pros for this pen? Well, firstly, I'm putting that same thing in. This is a maker pen. It's a custom pen made by a maker, by an artist, a person who has spent years and years dedicated to their craft. And that's a kind of special thing. The fact it's also a pen that I had some input into the design and what I wanted. I love that. I love that at any level. So that's fantastic. I really enjoy this nib. It's a simple Bock nib, but it writes beautifully. Yes, beautiful pen. Love to write with it. It's what it's designed for. I adore Huon pine, so any pen with Huon pine in it, I'm all for. But also the finishing on this, it's beautiful. That beautiful, varnish polish on it, it's lovely. The acrylic is lovely. The combination of, the colors and the materials and things, just lovely. It's a well-designed, well-executed pen from a maker who really knows what they're doing. So please support your local makers. But if you're in Australia, check out our great makers here, including that pen bloke. Steve there is a remarkable pen maker, and every pen of his I've reviewed over the years, I have really thoroughly enjoyed, and this is absolutely no exception. So that's the beautiful pen that Stephen made me over there. Gorgeous pen, like using natural materials, and there's always that little like quirk of that in the grain and everything, and it's beautiful and it's handmade and it's an artisan piece in itself. So I'm very happy to have this pen in my collection. As I said, please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, and please consider becoming a member of this channel. A big thank you to Stephen for his continued support of this channel. As I said, it's a piece I commissioned from him, and we sort of worked on it together, but he's an amazing guy and a great pen maker. So check out all his details down below. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.